This relationship talks with Rick and Naaman. I'm Rick.
And I am the DJ Blue.
And he's Naaman.
And I am the DJ Blue.
So Naaman,
what's up?
The more I think about it, the more I think about going into a relationship, I always think about that old adage that love is blind.
Okay.
So I feel like when you jump into a relationship, a lot of times you're jumping in with your eyes shut.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, what does it take to jump into a relationship with your eyes wide open?
I don't know. This is. You can't ask me a question, something you just made up. You tell me. Explain it to me. I'll give you my version. I don't know. Eyes wide shut, eyes wide open. You got
like
all
that
these
eyes wide shut movie.
Right. You got all these different options. So you how about you start and then I'll give you my
I'll break
part.
it down for you.
Okay.
So I feel like when we jump into relationships, a lot of times we jumping in with our eyes wide shut. And what I mean by that, we're jumping in, we're ignoring the things and the red flags sometimes that we see a lot of times because we're so infatuated. Maybe we're infatuated, we're in lust. They're cute in the way that we like, so we're overlooking obvious red flags. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's somebody that we looked at from afar and we're fantasizing, and it's like finally we can be with that person. But instead of opening our eyes to see who the person actually is, we have our eyes shut and we're just envisioning the person that we fantasize.
Right.
So when I say eyes wide shut, I mean, how do you go into a relationship making sure that you're not overwhelmed with emotions, that you're so that you also keep your eyes open to the actual person to get to know them without falling so head over heels that you just ignore every red flag?
Well, I think we talked about this on another episode. Healing is the answer.
You think so?
Yeah, that's
just as simple as that.
It is as simple as that because I mean, when you're in those relationships and you jump in, even when you do have your eyes closed and like I say, you're fantasizing, you're not necessarily healing from whatever it is you were dealing with, or even just assessing the relationship that you're in for what it is and not what you thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I think preparing for a great relationship is awesome, but I think once you get into that relationship and you start seeing like, okay, well, this isn't good or this isn't right, and then they keep going.
Right.
And it's like a cycle. Or, well, this is not good. And I mean, honestly, I've talked to people, recently in life, they got into situations and it was just like, nothing's really going well. It's like, okay, well, this is bad. All right, well, cool. Well, this is good, but it's kind of got like a twist to it. This is bad too, so
it's good-ish.
Yeah, and I think people often give themselves to people with their eyes wide shut, if you will.
Exactly.
They give themselves to people without actually realizing the flaws, I would say.
Yeah, just thinking about what you said, it just makes me think about how many times have we been in relationships and we're in those relationships and like, this relationship is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's great. And we're in it and it's great. Right. And it's this and it's this and it's that. But then as soon as like it ends or y'all have a argument or falling out. Yeah, exactly. You look back and it's like, man, that relationship wasn't what I thought it was. It's like you were looking through it with different glasses that painted a completely different picture of the one that was actually in reality.
For sure. Yeah, I would say so. I think that, I guess that how weird your example of eyes wide, whatever you said.
I said eyes wide shut.
Whatever. I think whatever you said, it made sense because, that's a good way to say, well, hey, why are people getting into relationships? On the basis of thoughts of good relationships as opposed to the actual physical or mental or emotionally being correct or being right, being what you need. They're thinking about, oh, well, when I first started talking to this person, this looked good. This looked nice. They had a car. I didn't know it was a rental. We went over to his house. He had this big house. I didn't know it was his mom's. You know what I mean?
Starts piling up.
Yeah, it just starts piling up like, oh, well, I can't figure out why he doesn't drive at night because his tags is not legit. So it's just things fall apart. And honestly, people go through things as well. That's the case. But you have to evaluate, with your eyes open, whether you want those to be things that, you're going through, or you want them to just be like, okay, well, you need to grow from this, and then we need to revisit a relationship. Because when you bring those things in, when you do those things with your eyes wide shut, you just forget about all of those things like that, and those things could possibly become your failures in your relationship as well too.
The thing is that a lot of times those things are like right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
And I can think of times where I dated women and it's like, ooh, she bad. Like, I'm about to get at her. And I get at her. And when you finally get at her, y'all had that first conversation and y'all exchange numbers and this, and like in your head, you're already building this narrative. Like, it's going to be like this and we're going to do this, and forgetting that that person is a whole human.
Yeah.
That's a whole human. That's not your fantasy. Like, you're not in control of that person. They're going to be who they're going to be. You're bringing your baggage. They have their baggage.
Right.
And when you have like a whole human, you can't expect everything to go how you envisioned it, because that's not how life works.
I think you hit it right on the head when you said that, because that's what most relationships are. Most relationships are basically people expecting people to be a certain way, or, based on their perception or based on what they believe,
Because the more you get to know somebody, the more layers that you peel from them, and you really get to see who a person is truly, especially in an advent of social media. It's almost like we have representatives online, but when you actually get to meet that person in person,
you meet a different person.
It's a different person altogether. You
meet the secretary.
I mean, because I know I talked to this one girl one time, and she was telling me she had posted a picture on Instagram, and she had sent me a picture that she didn't post.
Okay.
And she was like, "Yo, I took like 500 pictures just to
that's a lot.
Just to get these two. One I wanted to send to you, one I wanted to post online." So you think about what you're seeing online, you're seeing a snapshot, and you're seeing the best snapshot. So like a lot of times when you go on dates and you meet people, it's like you're just getting a snapshot.
That's what I told you about the chick with the gumball with legs. We talked about that. And then, like I said, she's a sweet girl, whatever. I don't think she listens to this, so I'm going to pretty much go a little bit harder. Yeah, she was shaped like a gumball with legs. And like I said, in her photos, she didn't look anything like the person that I was sitting next to. She did not. She looked like she smelled nice, but she smelled like cigarettes.
Ooh, man, cigarette smell is a big turn off for me.
Exactly. And have you ever had a gumball flavored cigarette?
That doesn't sound appealing, sir.
It isn't. It's not appealing at all.
Sounds gross.
It is terrifyingly gross.
Like, just looking at you, you look traumatized.
No, I was, to be quite honest with you, because the thing is, she was so cute in the pictures. And me personally, I mean, hey, everyone say looks not everything. Well, looks happens to be the first thing that you see. So yeah,
that's what you're attracted to. Yeah,
that's what you look for. Because I mean, you're not gonna like, even if you're dating online, you're not about to say, well, oh, she's ugly, but I'm a swiper because she's probably got a really good personality. You're not gonna say that.
You gotta have that initial attraction.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, in that case, I personally, I was like, well, this is already gonna be a problem because. I mean, like I said, I don't mind the gumball shape. She was round. Round things are cool. I like round things. That's my thing. But in my mind, I was just like, I'm not cool with this. I'm not cool with this chain smoking. I'm not cool with that. I'm definitely not cool with that. I can't ride with that, and I can't vibe with that because that's not me. So I had to be completely honest with myself and put the gumball back in the machine.
It's funny because the whole thing with social media, guys, we as men, we are very visual creatures. So the visual means a lot more to us than I feel like women. And I think it is something scientific, but I don't have those stats in front of me. But we're very visual creatures. So we really have to be attracted at the onset to even go anywhere. And you think about being on any of those dating apps. The thing about those dating apps is that that's their, they have 5 pictures up. They might have took 1,000 pictures. Those are their best.
Those are the best photos.
Best of 5,000 pictures.
So if it's not like 1,000 photos, it's like, this is a problem.
It's not like they put up one like, this is one day where I was ugly, and this is one day when I didn't wear makeup.
We should make like a rule book, or not even a rule book, maybe just something to look at when you're searching. Like, number 1, if she has 5 great pictures,
right?
she's probably a dog-looking person. She's probably a dog in those other 5,000 pictures.
If they don't have a full body pic.
Yeah. If they don't have a full body pic, then she's probably not attractive.
If all of these pictures look like they were taken 10 years ago.
If all of her photos are cropped and or shaped, or you see some weird little bubbles in the picture where it looks like, right, it's been photoshopped, and she's a liar. If she takes pictures of money, she's probably a scammer.
Ooh.
Those are things. I mean, I'm saying this is fact.
Man, it's like you've been on these apps a lot. Like,
it's not even apps. This is just statistics.
This is life, huh?
This is statistics. If you're taking pictures of money, like me, I work for my money. I'm not
taking a picture of it.
I don't take pictures of my bank account, my money. I don't take pictures of anything that's in my Cash App. I leave those things alone. I don't want anybody to notice those things.
No, not at all.
So if he's posting those things, he's a scammer.
I mean, it goes both ways, men and women. Like, I would be leery. Like, people, you should be leery either way. If one, all the pictures look old. Two, all of them look beautified and not unnatural.
Like, granted, yes, unnatural. Me personally, I take maybe like 3 or 4 photos. Well, you're supposed to. You take about 3 or 4 photos and you pick between those photos. I'm not about to go 500. Like, this is terrible. This is terrible, because after you leave that realm of your perception of yourself, now you're trying to please any of your other followers.
Yeah.
Like, so now, like, you can't please all of these people. It's not going to work. So you might as well just, hey, this is cute. Post it.
Yeah. Bringing all that together is just, you're never getting a full picture, and we're building a whole person in our head off of 5 pictures that might be 5 of 1,000. Mm-hmm. And it's just unsafe to do that. And I feel like whenever you start to fantasize before you really start to meet someone, you put yourself at a disadvantage when you actually get into that relationship, because you don't look at who the person really is.
Right. You're looking at
what
they've created,
or what you want them to be.
Yeah, that persona that they've created so that you could see. And that's what I hate. That I hate posting. I don't like social media, even and the dating sites, when it comes to like posting for other people to see. Mm-hmm. It's like another man wearing very expensive glasses so that another man can say, man, those are expensive glasses.
Those are expensive glasses.
Or another woman wearing an expensive purse or an expensive pair of pants, because that other woman is going to look and say, yo, those are expensive pair of pants.
Right.
How can I be like you? Like, it's like, and that feels like that's what that is. And I think that all kind of goes, hand in hand when you're talking about, noticing things when you're going into a relationship, open, wide, closed, however you weirdly put it.
I just say that people, a lot of times we go into relationships with our eyes wide closed.
Right.
Wide shut. Yes. Yeah, there it is.
Right.
Wide shut.
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go. With their eyes wide shut, because they're not looking at all of the things that's in front of them, all of the things that they should be paying attention to. They're looking at, they have their eyes closed, and they're dreaming about this relationship, and they see it that way. And our minds are so strong that we'll think that we're in that relationship. Yeah. And you might not even be in a relationship.
Not at all. You
might be in a relationship by yourself.
Easily. And that happens. And like I said, that's what happens when you get into those relationships where you can't either see the person for whom they are, because they're putting on this facade. They're showing you a movie. That's the life they want you to see. Yeah. They don't want you to see that when they wake up, the titty's hanging out. But it's not the good titty. It's the titty that's lopsided.
What?
I'm just saying, they don't want you to see those things. You see them in the morning. Some of those women are bald-headed. They're bald. They don't want you to know that. They got wigs. They got weaves. They've got hair products and stuff like that that'll make you look like your hair is 19 inches long, and you could be as bald as Michael Jordan at this point. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Like whatever it is, at the end of the day, you just got to make sure that whoever you find, that you're accepting them for who they are.
Their bald head.
For who they are.
Lumpy butts. Lopsided titties.
And not what you imagine them to be.
Don't imagine those titties to be asymmetrical. It'll never work.
My Lord.
It'll never work.
Thinking about it, one of the ways to try to make sure that you go into a relationship with your eyes wide open is to build a friendship.
Yeah.
Build a friendship, build a rapport,
Build a foundation.
and just remember that you bring value and that this person has their own value, and you have to see if you guys are compatible, if you can hold a conversation, if you're a good fit for one another. Sometimes so many what could have been really good friendships get ruined by bringing a relationship into it.
Yeah.
Sometimes two people could have been like really, really good friends and they end up getting in a relationship and they're a terrible relationship, but they're really good friends.
Yeah.
And so for me, any situation that I'm going into in the future, I want to make sure that I build up a friendship and that one, we're comfortable, one, that we're actually showing each other who we really are as a person, and we make sure that we're compatible in the ways that we need to be compatible in order to make something that lasts, instead of just, hey, like, let's just jump into a relationship right now.
Right.
Because that's not going in with your eyes wide open.
No, not at all. Being direct. I think that should be like a part of that.
Being direct is very important.
That's a part of going in there with your eyes wide open and actually focusing in on your goals, as opposed to just getting in, just see how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Just be direct. Find some way to directly say what you want or directly say what you need out of a relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's important. Say, well, hey, I noticed that, you invited me over here to your house, but I keep seeing pictures of people who look like you and you standing in the back. Is this your mama house? All right, well, that's cool. You working through it, but
like, say it's your mama house.
Say it's your mama house, like, or say, hey, that's my mama car. That's why I don't drive it at night. I have a curfew. What have you? It doesn't matter. It's just, I think it's just important to be honest.
Take the time to get to really know somebody, because you'll fall in love with a representative, or you'll fall in like with somebody that you don't know.
Yeah,
and. It's just important to anybody that you want to build with. You need to know, and you got to have a comfort with them. I want to be comfortable talking to you like as myself. Right. I don't want to have anxiety. I want to be able to talk to you comfortably as myself.
Exactly.
And I want her to be able to come and talk to me and be open and feel comfortable to say whatever she needs to say.
For sure.
Because it's important,
Oh, yeah, it's definitely important. I mean, I think that's a part of mental health.
It has to be, right?
Being able to talk to somebody else about your feelings towards them without you judging them and doing things like that. I think that's important.
Another thing to really think about is knowing yourself whenever you go. That's another way to go into a relationship with your eyes wide open.
Right.
Is to really know yourself. What are your deal breakers? What is something that you definitely can't deal with in a relationship? Mm-hmm. And if that's really a deal breaker for you, like if you want to get married and that person just wants to date forever and they're not looking to ever get married, but y'all can act like y'all married but never be legally married. If that's your deal breaker, don't go in thinking that you're about to change somebody.
Yeah.
Like if that's your deal breaker, you need to pay attention to the flags. You need to ask those questions in the beginning, like, hey, Like, are you looking for marriage, or are you just out here, playing around?
Out here hustling.
Another thing is to know things that you need in a relationship. Do you need communication? Are you someone who needs a lot of time? If you need a lot of time and you know that you need a lot of time and you're honest with yourself, don't go with somebody who's not going to have that time to give you. If somebody has a busy job and they're working 24/7 and they're trying to build something, but you want like 8 hours a day to see them, and they don't have those 8 hours a day to give you, you're going to be unhappy. And if that person loves you, what's going to end up happening is that they're going to have to make a sacrifice or a change. They're going to have to give up one thing or the other. And a lot of times that ends up leaving resentment. If you're building something and you feel like that's your purpose, and you give that up for somebody because they want to see you more, that could cause so many problems.
It could.
I remember I was dating somebody, and I gave up on a job that I was going to go because the hours would have cost us not to see each other as much. Mm-hmm. And, I did it because I loved the person that I was with. But at the same time, I can't. You're
not with him now.
I would be lying. I mean, that too, right? And the other thing is that it's a little bit of resentment. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, at that time it was hard to get a job, and it's like, I get to spend time with her, but
yeah,
I don't have any money, and I'm sitting on the couch in my mom's house all day because I can't get a job, and the job that would have been paying really, really well, I didn't do because I wanted to spend time with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think about, that things that you should pay attention to when you first start feeling somebody?
I mean, nothing that we haven't already like touch bases on. I think that, like I say, communication, just being direct about things that you want up front.
Yeah.
And just setting the expectation with that person for that relationship. I think that's important. Obviously, it's easier said than done because nobody's just going to walk up to you and say, hey, I don't like it when you do this, but I'm okay with it. I'm dealing with it. I just need you to kind of figure out like another way to do this, or if you can't figure out another way to do this, let's find some type of compromise that I can like say, well, I don't have to deal with this on this level. You know, because me personally, I would explain it like that. Like I don't really like this, but I'm dealing with it. Can you try and adjust it? Like I'm not asking you to change it. I don't want you to change your life, but if we're going to be a part of each other's lives, you're going to have to make some adjustments because I can't deal with the fact that you have hairy feet.
Hairy feet, though?
I mean, it could be. Whatever it is. If I don't like hairy feet, I don't like hairy feet. If she's not willing to change her hairy feet.
What, shave them every day?
Right. If she's not willing to get that shaving cream out, handle that business, then I'm good. Look, you go keep your hairy feet wherever you need it. I'm good because you're not willing to either get to that point to making some type of compromise. If that was one of my things. I haven't really seen hairy feet.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But I would have a problem with it.
I would say you hit a really good point when you say being direct. I would also say, to add to that, is let go of your assumptions. Don't assume that that person's definition of dating is the same thing as you. Don't assume that a kiss means the same thing to you as it does to the other person.
Right.
Don't assume that sex means the same thing to you as the other person. Those are things that you guys both need to communicate with each other.
Because you both come from different backgrounds.
Both different backgrounds, and you don't want to put those assumptions that just because you feel this way about that, they feel that way about that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I would say as well is don't remember that people aren't mind readers. So if it's something that you want, you have to verbalize it because somebody's not just going to be able to read your mind like, you want this. Life doesn't work like that.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And I feel like it never did.
I feel like it did in the 50s. They didn't really have much else to think about. It
was like 5 things they could do.
Yeah, it was literally like 5 things in the world to do. Sex was like 4 of them.
4 of them?
Sex was like 4 of them. That's really all they did. There's so many children out there in the world that's just old and parentless.
Oh, man.
It's a concept.
That got dark.
It got really dark. It's a concept, though.
But yeah, so just don't assume, be direct, and communicate. Communicate is, I feel like every time we talk about relationships, and that's every episode, everything about relationship usually always narrows down to something dealing with communication. So
for sure, communication
is, and being able to express yourself is so very important. That
it's key.
It is key. And it's key to so many relationships.
Another one.
Especially the healthy ones.
Yeah.
The healthy ones that communicate and they're willing to adapt and do the work that they need to do in order to stay together.
For sure.
As always, thank you for listening. To be a part of the conversation, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Rick and Naaman. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the show on your favorite podcasting app. You can follow my personal account at Doddsism, and that's DODDSISM. You can find the DJ Blue at
I am the DJ Blue.
He is the DJ Blue.
Twitter, Instagram, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Well, until next time, boys and girls, remember,
there's always a next time.